listeners, and welcome to another episode of Bones of the Story. Today, Jen and I are going to talk about plot twists, and I'm going to give the backstory of this conversation. So, I'm a meme person and GIF or GIF or whatever you want to call it, and so I bombard Jen with a whole bunch of stuff. But one of them was this post in a writer's Facebook group that I'm in, and the point of it is the plot twist. So it says, if fans guess your plot twist, it means you've laid the groundwork for it to be believable. The plot of a twist is to enrich a story, not feel superior for outsmarting your audience. And I thought that this was very interesting, and I'm curious, Jen, to know what your stance is on this.
I mean, I feel like you can do a plot twist that you don't see coming well, but I feel like it has to be a lot, like you have to be able to like give the evidence. Like there has to be evidence of that plot twist there, even if your readers miss it. I personally like it where it's not obvious, but you can put the dots together after the fact if you missed it the first time. I can't stand a plot twist that is a plot twist for the sake of plot twist. Like I think of Freida McFadden when I think of this. She's a psych thriller writer, author, and a couple of her books have felt very like, what? like there was no clear connection between, or plausible connection between, like the plot points and the story points to like who actually ended up being the villain, or like how things played out or whatever. And honestly, those are my least favorite kind of books, because like it doesn't make sense to me.
I like that. That's not where I thought we were going to go with this when you responded to my meme. I'm like, I'm ready for this debate to take place. Because I agree that the groundwork is fine, but I am of the essence that it is my job to figure out. And if you can surprise me, you done a fantastic job. Like I am the trying to, I guess this is set for writers, right? Because it was from a writing group, but I'm from the reader mindset that I should not know what's going to happen when it's going to happen. But if I'm smart enough, I will figure it out. And then I get the point. The author doesn't get the point. I get the point, because we are
Right.
in competition of figuring this out. And there have only been a handful of books that I didn't see coming. And I can only think of one at the top of my head, but I know there's been at least a handful. And it's a book by Jaci Burton. It was her first, like, it was still a romance, but like I think at the point that she wrote that, she was really known for her MC romances, and then she does this like serial killer romance, and I don't know if it's the first serial killer romance I ever read, so maybe that I don't know if I would still be shocked today with my background now, with my catalog. But at the time, I did not see that twist coming, and it was pretty good in the moment. I don't know if it'd be good now, but then it was in the moment. So sometimes I guess it's hard because we read romance for there to be a plot twist. I think it depends on what like subgenre, like maybe paranormal or like mafia, we might be able to get a plot twist. But I think like with the straight contemporary romance, like it's just not in the genre. But the few psychological thrillers or even mystery thrillers that I've read, no, I was just trying to think, were there any that I didn't guess? I'm going to start naming some things off my head. The Kind Worth Killing. Have you read that book by
Mm-mm.
Peter something? It was so
No.
good, but I had it figured out. That one, I think there is a. Okay, so maybe I think we need to define plot twist versus surprise. Or is that still like the same thing? So I'm going to give some spoilers for The Kind Worth Killing. Sorry, audience. People plan murders throughout the book. But at the end of the book, the place where they hide the bodies, there's a development that's going to be built there, and that's how the book ends, which is really great. So is that like a plot twist, or is that a surprise, or because I haven't read the sequel. The sequel is The Kind Worth Saving, so I don't know what happens after that. I loved the first book and the way that it ended with that cliffhanger. If you call it a cliffhanger, I think it ended very well. I didn't think there needed to be a second one, so I guess maybe that's a struggle. I don't know if that would be a plot twist. It's the end of the book.
Well, I mean, I think it can be a plot twist if the series continues.
I think there was quite a few years. Nobody even knew that there was going to be a sequel.
Hmm.
And by everybody, I mean me.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's
I
see.
don't know.
What about you? Do you have any plot twisty ones? Let's see. The Kind Worth Killing came out in 2015. The Kind Worth Saving, which is the sequel, came out in 2023.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like I'm saying, like, and apparently there's a third one. Huh.
Hmm.
That came out last year, 2024.
Trying to think, like, I mean, I know I've been prized in books, but I can't really think of. I mean, I think, if you want to go with like a classic plot twist that ends up, you know, having plenty of evidence to back it up once you start looking for it, you can easily look to the Tamlin and Rhysand situation, where you're set up to believe that she's supposed to be mated with Tamlin for a book and a half. And then you find out that that was never supposed to be the case anyway.
Is that really a plot twist, though?
I don't know what else you would call it, because it certainly takes you away from where you thought the plot was originally going.
Okay, I stand corrected. That's okay. You win that one.
Yeah.
What I would call it is annoying, but a plot twist is more professional. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a yeah. I would never call that a plot twist, but now that we're talking about it, yes, I see that is one. Oh, I don't know if this is considered a plot twist, but the High Mountain Court, the brother, or is that just fucking pissing off writing?
I I think in order for us to have like a good theory on it, I think we would have to finish the series to see if we get any additional context. Because like that was so useless for that book.
I know you're trying to be logical, Jen, but I'm trying to stay in my emotional state of I'm not finishing that series because of what she did, okay?
Hey, I'm in
I'm
total agreement.
but okay, I will give you that we cannot give a full conclusive opinion on it. The series as a whole, we can just give it on the single book.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ugh,
because I
it's
mean
so
that
irritating.
plot point, scene, whatever you want to call it, was completely useless unless it comes up later.
Yeah. Do you think it's necessary for books to be successful to have a plot twist?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I feel like you can have straightforward books. I mean, good grief, all of Heather Graham's, she's written however many books of hers, and it's all pretty much the same book. It's just with different characters. And
Mhm.
they're I've read the majority of them. I think one
Okay.
thing that I want to, if you're gonna do a plot twist, if you're gonna like switch something major in the story, like it all has to make sense. You can't just do things willy nilly.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, and I also think that it doesn't have to be something like so fantastical or something like so crazy. So, one of my favorite as a repeat reader, a rereader, I have my go-to books that I read. And one of my favorite, probably going to shock a lot of people. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
hold on.
No, you're good. I'll pause. Okay. We were somewhere in this great discussion trying to figure things out. And yes. Mimosa Grove by Diane McCollin, which is also known as Sharon Sulla.
Uh huh.
So she writes romantic suspense. But this one, like I say, like a plot twist doesn't have to be like crazy out there. So it's about this woman who inherits this property in Louisiana, and she actually comes from a female line of psychic witches. I don't remember what term she uses in the book, but her dad, who's never really been part of that because when, you know, got with the mom, they left that side of the family, just never really believed her. And so when her grandmother dies, she inherits the home property, the property that's been in her family for generations. And so she decides to move down there. She's like, nobody up here respects me. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to be in a space. And she goes down there and fantastical things happen, but they're trying to solve this mystery. Or maybe not solve this mystery. They She starts having these dreams and premonitions, whatever, and then come to find out that the reason why she is soul bound to this dude that she's been dreaming about, that she finally meets when she gets down there, is because they are the ancestors from like 3 or 4 generations back that were also soul bound.
Oh.
And so that was kind of like a plot twist, but not really big. But it's like, oh, this makes so much sense as we're trying to solve this ghost story about what happened in the past. As we go through the story, and in the end, we learn that, oh, she was my great ancestor and he was your great ancestor, and this is why we have this cosmic connection, through whatever. And so small but great. I love that book. Now I'm gonna go read the book when we're done.
What book is that?
It's called Mimosa Grove. MIM. Don't ask me how to spell things. OSAGROVE by Dinah McCall. DINAHMCCALL. It's super simple. There's nothing crazy about it. I mean, besides, like the powers and the solving an age old murder / haunting. It's super great. I love that book. I love it so much. That might have been my introduction to paranormal romance. That and
Really?
Heather Graham. I think so, because the book was gifted to me when I was still in high school, and I'm not talking like school related reading. I read some paranormal school related reading, but I had this, I don't know what you want to call her, friend, associate, I don't know. She gave me like 3 books to read, and one of them was Mimosa Grove, and one of them was a Heather Graham, and one of them was the first book in Nora Roberts' The Gallagher series. It's about Irish mythology, and I read all 3 of them and I loved them. But I'm pretty sure Mimosa Grove was my first, because if I'm thinking back to the things that I used to read in high school for romance, it was like Sandra Brown, it was like Harlequin Intrigue. Like none of them really had paranormal, and I think that was the first one, and maybe that's why I love it so much. I don't know, because it was very simple, no crazy world building, no crazy magic. It's just this inherent thing that's passed down through the women in her family, and it's just a part of her. And so I don't know, it was really great. But I that might be, and we know my memory is shoddy, but I'm pretty sure that might be the first paranormal romance book I read,
That's
which
cute.
makes so much sense. Between that and, because I would classify that as paranormal. It's a ghost story and she
Yeah.
has powers. Just
Yeah.
like Heather Graham, some of her haunting crew, she can speak to ghosts or hear ghosts. That's a paranormal to me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nora Roberts' Jewel of the Sun, I think, is the first one in the Gallagher series that is based off Irish mythology. I don't know if I would fully call that paranormal. I probably wouldn't. There's a little bit of like magic in it, because of the cottage, but it's Ireland. Ireland's very magical, so we're gonna give that. Anywho, I'm going on a tangent. So I don't think, back to my original point, I don't think plot twists have to be something so crazy and like make you take a left instead of a right in a book. You can just, have a little bend in the street and still go straight, just a little curve.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that
I
that's
completely
okay.
agree.
Back to my question, that you don't have to have a plot twist to make it be successful. Although it does, I like plot twists sometimes for the shock value. If I'm in a book and then all of a sudden that comes, I'm like, is this a good shock value or a bad shock value?
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think the key point though is that there's evidence that leads up to it in hindsight. If there's no
Yes.
evidence that leads up to it, it completely changes the tone of the book for me. And I'm like, you're just throwing this in here to throw this in here,
Hmm.
and we need to do better. And if you need proofreaders or development content readers, authors, Jen and I will do it for you.
Pretty much. Pretty
We
much.
want you to be successful and we want to read good stuff. So, although, you know, who are we to have such high opinions? But we do. We do. And we'll be honest about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I would have prepped more for this and I would have thought back to other conversations. What about plot twists over long series? I have an example. Patricia Briggs, Mercedes Thompson series. I don't know if I'm probably going to say this a lot. I don't know if this is a plot twist. And then you're going to be like, of course it's a plot twist, Misty. Duh. Read the signs. So we have this whole series, and I think it's like at book 12 or 13 that we get a book, and the villain, who we've known who the villain is from early in the series. That's not true. Not early in the series. I think maybe between book 6, no, not 6, 7, not 7, 8. Between 8 and 9, cuz that's Frost Night. Hold on. I just need to stop guessing and use this magical thing called the internet to pull the things up. But I mean, where's the fun in that if I do that? Okay, this is where I'm pretty sure in Silence Fallen, which is book 10, we get introduced to a villain. Now, apparently, if memory serves correctly, his name is trickled a little bit through some of the other books because he's the head honcho for the vampires. So for those who don't know, Mercedes Thompson series, you have werewolves, you have fae, and you have vampires. And it's urban fantasy, so they're all out in the open mixed with humans. Well, the vampires, big bad boogeyman, alpha of alphas, or whatever you want to call him, his name is kind of trickled into the books. And then we finally meet him in book 10. And then I'm pretty sure it's book 10. Fire touched my broken frost burned. Yeah. Then in book 13, we get to see him again. He comes back and he's like, all of this bad shit that's been happening since book 1, I've been all a part of it. I don't know if that's a plot twist or not.
No, I mean, I would say it is.
Okay.
I
I
think.
I think I mean I've re-listened to this book at least once a year, the series at least once a year. There's no, I guess it falls back to, I guess I need somebody else who's read this whole series, or you to read the series, not anytime soon, obviously, because, you know, it, all the other things we got to do, to help me figure out or pinpoint the foundation that leads up to that, right? Patricia Biggs is very good about doing Easter eggs in her stuff. So, like, 3 books before, maybe somebody is humming London Bridges is falling down, and then in 2 books later, the whole bridge gets taken down, right? Like, so she's really great about doing little things like that. And maybe I just haven't caught on enough to make the connections of where he masterminds this whole thing. Now it makes sense because of how the book starts. Like, it's kind of like a plot twist within a plot twist. So for those who read the first book, we know who the bad guy is, but as you learn from Borat, whatever his name, Borat, whatever, the vampire villain, he was like, oh, I had my hand in that. He's like the mastermind that's like 10 steps ahead of everybody. And it's quite interesting, except for Mercedes kind of gets one over on him in one of his little plots that he has, and he gets pissed off. And that's why he shows back up in Soul Taken. Because he's like, you think that you can, mess with this plan that's been in the making for however long? He's like, I don't think so.
Right.
So, anywho. Plot twists. So, yeah, okay. I just thought that the quote was interesting, and I do think that it can help. It can save a book, it could kill a book, and then it could just keep on rolling with the book. I think those are your 3 options with a plot twist.
Yeah.
And Misty needs to learn the definition of a plot twist, but that's neither here nor there.
Nah.
I'm going to start doing that now. Be like, Jen, is this a plot twist? No, I won't. I won't bore you with that. I'll just wait till we read it together and be like, okay, so did this book have a plot twist? Yay or nay?
Yeah.
That could probably be pulled into the discussion. I don't know. Anything else you want to touch on it?
I don't think so.
I think this was a good talk. I enjoyed it. We got to ramble about other books. And by ramble, I mean me. Sorry, I dominated the conversation.
No, I don't mind. It happens.
Okay. It is all yours, my friend.
All right, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in on this episode. I would love to hear what your favorite plot twist in a book has been. You can tag us on Instagram at Bones of the Story, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on the journey into the shadows of love, where dark romance stories come to light.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bones of the Story as much as we did. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us.
And to stay updated on all things dark romance, follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, ideas, or even your own dark romance stories with us. Drop us a line at bonesofthestory@gmail.com.
Remember, our next tantalizing episode is just around the corner, so keep your hearts open and your senses sharp.
Until then, embrace the darkness and let the stories continue to stir your deepest desires.
This is Misty
and Jen,
signing off
from Bones of the Story.